Hi there, beautiful, precious, divine being that you are, right there, where all is possible for you given who you are. My topic is get over being a nervous wreck. You know, that's when you're just anxiety driven, and these can come in waves. You know, all of a sudden it could be that you associated with someone who was full of fear, and all of a sudden you got contaminated, you got slimed. I call you getting slimed. And now all of a sudden you've taken all that on. And you take a look at what the fear is, where does it come from? And when if you really do your work, and that's what this is all about. You've got to dig to be so committed to who you are, because you are an eternal being. You were never born, you never die. These are appearances, and yet you experience it as real because we have immersed ourselves into this reality where people tend to believe they are this reality and that's all that there is. And they then believe all of these thoughts and programs and what they hear in the media, and continually terrified all the time. There's not going to be enough. So what happens? You have to watch how the mind operates. It's always bringing up narratives, stories of the past. Where are they now? They're not there. They're in your mind. And then by reacting to that as if it's happening now, you bring the past into the present, which contaminates your present and your future, because then everything's just continuing to repeat. So if you take a look at, you've got issues or situations going where you have stoppages, where you're trying to do something good for yourself, but you keep resisting it, and and other people are influencing you so much. When I first moved to La Jolla, California, from where I was living in La Cañada, California, when I was hired as the minister of a local metaphysical church in La Jolla, I knew, because I was so susceptible to other people, their opinions, their thoughts, their actions, their words, whether they liked me or not. I was always doubting. I was doubting myself. And I knew you have to know your weaknesses, and actually our greatest strength is also our greatest weakness, because our greatest strength is our sweetness and our divine nature. Yet what happens is that also makes us naive and trusting where we don't need to be trusting. Like it's saying, like, oh, you're going to love everybody. Yes, you do, but you don't want to be with everybody, and you don't invite them over to your house, and you don't spend time with these people because you get slimed. And their consciousness is always going to keep manifesting. So when you take someone into your bubble, they're bringing their bubble of consciousness with them, and they can terrorize you in every single way, because that's where their consciousness is. That's what they believe. That's what they do. That's what they use. That's how they also use to control other people, and how they are controlled, because they get boxed in by fear. And people say, oh, well, you need fear, because if you didn't have any fear, you wouldn't protect it. No. Your divine wisdom, I don't want to do that, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be with them. I want to be over here, and I want to do this. And that means that, so I had to leave everybody I knew that could influence me in any way to stop me from doing what I wanted to do, which was to build the ministry, and had an eventual television ministry that was international, everywhere, based on win-win, that there are no losers. And what happens with that, it can also make us, when you want to see always the good in people, you also have to witness and know where they are in consciousness. That means what they believe, what they do, and who they are, and how they behave, and how they act. And so when we get boxed in by fear, what happens and terror, then we're the ones destroying our quality of being. We're allowing words and thoughts and the energy of others and the consciousness of others, or consciousness of media, or consciousness of internet, or consciousness of movies, or consciousness of like some people, they say, oh, I want my smartphone. You get the smart meter on the house. You get a smart car, so there you don't get to drive where you want. You get a smart city, so you get everything all locked down and all night, so you can't be in nature. You can't go out there. Take a look at what all that leads a person's to, and it's all fear driven because they want to be accepted. They've got to, and then everything gets put into a world where it's not your manifestation, it's not your choice. It's, oh, well, this is how it has to be, and this is how it is, and that people are so afraid to be who they are. They have to be politically correct and gender correct. This is stupid. And yet people say, oh, well, this is how it is. It is not. It's all words. And you take a look at how words are running your life. You say, in the beginning was the Word. It says in John 1:1. And the Word was with God, and the Word became God. The Word was God. Sounds aren't God, aren't source. No, you are. And that because you are part of the divine, you have all divine qualities. You are the Atma, the soul, that has no beginning or end, that and is a feeling. You are a feeling being, and you've got people out there with some channeling or they some new thing. We don't want the old, we want the new, and these people all. This is playing with your mind, and distorting that, and making you dependent on outer information when you want to be soul dependent. You want to be able to empower yourself. And so you start to recognize and realize, what are these fears? What are these doubts? What are these thoughts? So Alan Watts, who was a writer, kind of an impersonalist guy, did a lot of good stuff, soul searching and all that. And he said, if you think before you act, the devil has always got you. And that means then when you start analyzing everything you're doing, you start working it out, you're trying to solve your problems in the mind, you're trying to prevent the fear and the anxiety. So people are taking their prescription drugs so they can relax, or they non-prescription, dangerous things out there, amphetamines and things like this, because people are feeling so bad. Because why would you pay to go to a movie these days and sit in a room with a bunch of other people you don't know breathing the same air, rancid popcorn and noise and stuff coming at you? That is, see, when you know who you are, you protect yourself. And when you know who you are, you protect your consciousness. And you know who brings you down and who doesn't. You know what situations knock you off and others that don't. And that what you do is, instead of operating from the mind and thoughts and beliefs and fads and news and what's popular, you're awake and aware of what's going on. You don't close your mind and say, I don't want to see that, I don't want to see it. No, you that's not what it's about. If you knew there was a sinkhole in the road, you'd avoid it, but most people, they just drive right into it. Oh, it's all good, it's all good. No, that ain't good. It's stupid. And what people are a tendency, and you see people out there, they're like minions. They're not minions, they're like lemmings. They just follow along with the latest fad is, and the latest celebrity, and the latest. These are paid people. They're paid to lie, paid to play parts. The whole and people who are raised to the top in all different things. Because I was there, and I got to the top of my work as an international television ministry producer, Emmy-winning shows. I get all the things. I all thought that's what you want to do and have to do. Is in one level it's good, but it's so easy to get contaminated. And what happens is you become part then of that reality, that world, where who do you lose? You lose yourself. And all things are possible to you. So you have to then notice, where are you boxed in by fear? Who's pulling your strings? Who's telling you what to do? Are you around people who suppress you all the time and find always a way because they're controlling you? And in relationships, people often use words just to dominate somebody, to control somebody. And I remember I was in a relationship with someone who was an astrologer, and they kept telling me, oh, and this is your trouble, you're going to have this, and you're going to have this. No, I'm a very fortunate person. I'm very lucky. Because why not? Why not? Because you are. You say, well, how could I feel good if everybody else feels bad? How is you feeling bad going to help somebody else? It doesn't. Okay, you see? And what we tend to do by taking on all these fears, and I was talking to one of my long time students, she's wonderful, Elizabeth Alanis, and Dr. Elizabeth Alanis, and you can go to her website, loveintowholeness.com, loveintowholeness.com, where she's Hispanic, and her ministry and her work and everything as a psychologist and therapist and such, and also as a minister and a spiritual counselor, I obviously, and then doing her shamanic work. Very wonderful person. And she has her version, her interpretation and version of my best-selling book, What You Think of Me Is None of My Business, that in Spanish. So you can get that by going to her website for free. You see, we're offering that to the whole Spanish community for free. What you think of me is none of my business, because we're so have been run by what they say, by what they tell you about what they feel and they believe. That doesn't mean you don't do your market research and do those kind of things, but if you think before you act, you're not going to act, because the mind will bring up every obstacle. It knows exactly your weak points. It knows exactly how to knock you off. It knows how to destroy you. It knows how to, it knows you, because it's actually full of information and knowledge that really has nothing to do with you at all, but is used to control you. And as it does that, then hive mentality is trying to get everybody in alignment so that everybody's in their smart city, smartphone, smart car, smart this, which means dumb, and dumber yet. Because when you give your power away to anyone or anything as if it's superior to your own knowing and who you are, you're lost. And what happens is, and I realize why I've been able to do so many, and other people too that I work with as great people as my students, and many of them are therapists and ministers, and they are entertainers, they're musicians and artists and wonderful, great people, is that they just do it. And what happens is when you are, if you listen to fear-based reality, it doesn't mean that you're ignorant of what's going on. You're aware. But the most important that you are aware of is who you are. And to support yourself, and to build your confidence, and to build your courage, to give up doubt. And I was talking to Elizabeth on the phone, and we were both, because she's a mystic as well, and works in the divine. She's a magnificent person. And she and my daughter Rebecca appeared the same year. I thought that's really interesting, like that. So she's a spiritual daughter, and I have a lot of spiritual sons and daughters out there, and beautiful people. So anyway, we were talking about how when you feel terror of some kind, you feel stress, you feel fear, where the fear starts to work on you, it's because you think you're the doer, and because of thinking and analyzing and figuring it out and and trying to take credit for everything, and always trying to build you so you look good to others and others will like you, and then the mind is saying nobody likes you and you can't see. People get all confused like this, and they live in chaos, and then they're trying to work it out so they feel better, and they're trying to control everybody so that those people do what they want them to do, and all of this kind of a thing. And when you liberate yourself from that, you have that tremendous freedom. And you just do the thing, and the power is yours. Don't do it, and you do not have the power. And what happens then is what may I say? We get, boxed in. And as you throw off all of that stuff, that fear-based stuff, you realize fear is false evidence appearing real, FEAR. That doesn't mean you're not aware and alert and you do what you need to do in every moment, but the key is you're all-knowing in every moment. And instead of trusting thoughts to run your life, Because where do they come from? They're made of letters, with numbers, with words, with sentences, with definitions, with that control what people's actions and what they feel and what they do and who they are and what they take into their bodies and what they're drinking and how they're perceiving and how they treat themselves and how they treat others and all of this. When you step out of that, and that's what my work is about, when you step out of that and you be who you are, it's you invest in yourself. You're not investing in a false reality. You're not investing in lies. You're investing in truth that liberates you from all of this constraints and all of these diseases and all of the inner conflict and all of the wars and the fighting. These are not natural for us. Take back your life. Take back who you are, and that's what my work is to help you do that. And I do counseling all over the phone if you're not in the area, or in the area for love offerings, so that everybody can do that, but you got to contact me. And you contact me through email, terry@terrycolewhittaker.com. As you do that, terrycolewhittaker.com, and you just communicate with me, then we reach out and we have a relationship. I also have people that work with me on a continual basis that is for people who want career and work counseling and such, and we work that out. And then also so there's so many opportunities then that I can empower you in to help you empower yourself is really what it's about. Because you are the power. And when you recognize and you realize that, have real eyes, real vision, real knowing, you set yourself free. Free to be all that you are in every moment, regardless of the past, regardless of the moment before, regardless of the mind projections that you think you have, where you've been programmed to the hilt to believe in death and dying and this, and you can't die because that's not who you are. You are life itself. That's who you are. And so you claim that. And my work is to empower you to be all that you can be in every way, because I want you to be. This is who you are, and that is my work. So when you contact me, terry@terrycolewhittaker.com, and we get into conversation and working with each other, I've probably ordained 50 or 60 ministers. I have an international television program that I had that reached millions, and out there to empower everybody to do and have what is natural for them. You are an abundant being. You are life itself. All is possible to you. Get it. Breathe into your heart. All is well. Hugs.